Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of Inner Ear Secrets.
So exciting.
Mm. So, hey girls, today shall we debunk some myths?
Yeah, we should. There are so many misconceptions out there. So it's great to set the record straight. I loved Mythbusters growing up, so I'm really keen to have our own version where we provide some scientifically backed advice.
Exactly. I've got here a list of some of the biggest audiology myths out there that we should tackle today. But before we get started, though, do you think you held any misconceptions about hearing and ear health before you started this degree?
Yes, I did actually.
Audra, you can go first.
This is going to sound silly, actually. I thought when people are sick and congested, I thought the water gets trapped in the ears and that's what causes you to feel more congested or like that sort of thing. But that's to do with infection that you've got sitting behind the eardrum.
Yeah.
It's not an ear canal thing. And I thought it was an ear canal
Right. Yeah, because it's separated by
by the
the
eardrum.
eardrum.
I knew there was an eardrum, but for some reason I thought, the
Mm.
water gets trapped in the ears.
Maybe it's because, like, when you go swimming, sometimes water gets stuck in your ears and you're like, "Oh, it's trapped inside."
Again, I don't know why I thought it. Now I can't fathom thinking it. But that's what I
Yeah.
thought. That's me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me,
Mm.
it's a family thing where if you have earwax, my mum would heat up an onion
Oh.
and then she'd put it in a sock and then she'd put it over my ear as I'm lying down. Yeah, I thought that worked. I think it was psychological, but I was like, "Yeah, mum, I can hear better."
Maybe you're just heating up the wax and it's just
Yeah, I don't know. But you know what's funny? I did a quick Google search last night and I found out that people use it for earaches, not earwax. So I don't know what my mum was thinking.
Maybe you had earache and you didn't realize and you thought it was earwax, if it helps.
But that was such a bad misconception now because I'm like, it's not going to do anything.
No.
Yeah, true.
Mm.
There's another big myth that I had growing up about earwax was if you happen to accidentally eat your own earwax, you're going to go deaf.
I'm sorry.
No way.
Yeah, that's what I had growing up. And I was always low key afraid of wax because I didn't want to go deaf.
Wait, why would you eat it?
I don't know. But maybe it was just to stop the kids from
Eating their own wax.
The only thing that comes to mind when you say that, in Shrek, the original, he pulls out his earwax and uses it as a candle for his candlelit dinner. It's when he's having a quiet meal by himself. In one of the very first scenes of Shrek, pulls out. It's like he corks out his earwax, puts it on the table, and he's having a little lit dinner by himself.
Wow.
No.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, that just goes to show how much misinformation there is out there. And it's very important that we need to hear the right information. So today, from the truth about earwax to hearing aids, we're here to bust these myths wide open. Let's get started. First up, let's talk about earwax since we've just been mentioning a lot about earwax. A lot of people think it's really bad. Girls, what do you have to say to this? What's the truth?
This is a huge misconception, guys. So, a lot of us think earwax and we think that equals to bad ear health or you have bad hygiene, but that's not true at all. Earwax is normally beneficial for your ear, so it protects the ear canal by trapping dust and debris, and it also has antimicrobial properties. So, most of the time, earwax should move out of the ear naturally during chewing or other jaw movements.
That's very interesting. So, should we just leave it alone?
Yeah, you should leave it alone. So remember, earwax is really healthy. So unless you have symptoms of blockage, which is something like an earache or hearing loss, you shouldn't be needing to remove that earwax. So using a cotton bud can lead to the ear canal skin being dry or itchy or irritated because it's not lubricated by that wax. But side note here, there is such a thing as overproduction of earwax. So if you do have that, just make sure to keep an eye out and get that wax removed if need be.
Okay. Just following up from that then, which is also a really big myth, is using cotton buds to clean ears. Is that good or bad, girls?
That is really bad. So cotton buds can actually do more harm than good. They tend to push in the earwax further into the ear canal, which can cause blockages and even damages to the eardrum. Your ears are self-cleaning, so you generally don't need to use anything to clean them.
So what should people do if they feel like they have too much wax? They feel like their ears are blocked then?
So if you feel like you have too much earwax, it's best to consult an audiologist. They can determine if there's an issue and provide the appropriate treatment. They can either recommend wax drops or remove the wax for you. It's also good to know that sometimes you might feel like your hearing's blocked, but sometimes it's not earwax. And that's something to be really careful of. Because I saw a friend one day and their sister had actually felt like the ear was quite blocked. So she thought it was wax in there, but she was getting so irritated. I don't know how, don't ask me this. I think she ended up putting a nail file into her ear, like the pointy one, like the pointy nail file.
No.
Put it into her ear, but actually she was actually quite sick with a cold, so she had congestion behind her ears. And that's why she was feeling like it was blocked. She was just getting so irritated, just using the pointy end of a nail file to try and get wax out.
Oh my God.
Instead, end up going through the drum. I just had a look at the ear and I was like, oh. Not pretty.
Oh my God. So was it a big perf that she made?
There was a perf,
A
yeah.
big
There was a big
perforation.
perforation, so she'd made a hole in the eardrum.
Oh no.
So don't do that, because absolutely you should not be probing anything into your ear, let alone a nail file. But sometimes the blockage that you feel isn't wax. So it's always good to see someone. We have these really cool bits of tech that are able to detect whether it is earwax or not. Or stay away from the cotton buds. I know it feels good, but stay away.
Yeah. So apart from the cotton buds, another thing that people have been using is called ear candling. Have you guys heard about that before?
I have. I think recently someone on TikTok made an ear candling video. I think it's Janelle from Math.
Yes, Janelle from Math.
The reality TV. Yeah.
I did see this.
Yeah.
Shout out Math.
Yeah, Audra commented on her video.
I did comment on
What did you comment?
I watched the video. I was like, okay, I have all this knowledge. Maybe I should do something with it. So I commented underneath. Someone had already started a thread. Oh, probably shouldn't do this. It's just bad for you. And then somebody asked why. And then I replied and I said, this is just unsafe practice. There are better ways to go about this. So either go see your audiologist for wax removal, or your GP is always an accessible option. Very big emphasis on accessible. I said that, and obviously it left a little heart after I said it. Someone down the bottom commented, yeah, preach, on sister. And I was like, how did you And I thought, I never mentioned anything about that. I just said what I said and left it. But got a bit of clout out of that, so that was nice.
Yeah.
It was so interesting, because I think it really stirred up the commotion with this video that she had to do a follow-up, because people like me were telling her that it was a myth with this ear candling. And so then she did a follow-up video. All right, you guys told me to open this up and see if there's anything in it, like one that she hadn't used, because when she did the one that she used, she opened up and there was stuff inside of the ear candle. So this is a fresh one and there was still stuff inside. And she was like, oh, maybe this isn't a good idea. No, there's no scientific evidence that this works. It's not only ineffective, but it's also dangerous. It can push the earwax in, and it can also cause burns and injuries. Why do you want to play with fire that bad?
Yeah. Even listening to it sounds very risky, but it's surprising how many people actually believe that ear candling works.
Yeah, guys, it's not a vibe. Just don't do it. It's not worth the money. It's not worth the injury.
No.
Just don't. It doesn't do anything.
All right, moving on to the next myth. Headphones are damaging to your hearing. Girls, what's the truth here?
Okay. I'm sure a lot of people want to know this, but The issue isn't with the headphones themselves, but how they're used. So, listening to audio at a really high volume for a long period of time can cause damage to the hearing. So, if you're listening to it for a short period of time and it's at a proper setting or a proper volume, you're not going to have a hearing issue. But if you're going to play it super loud for super long, then you're probably going to damage your hearing. And I think it's important that you always keep your volume um, to a safe level and make sure you take breaks between listening to protect your hearing. And if I'm not wrong, apparently on the iPhone, it tells you whether you're listening to music at a safe level. So for those iPhone users, just try and make sure you're looking at that sort of gauge and being safe, staying within that safe zone.
Sorry for the Android users out there.
Yeah.
So if you do know, leave us a comment on Instagram or on YouTube if you know if there's something. It's always good that even the tech companies are keeping up and have an interest in protecting our health a little bit as well.
So are there any tips for safe listening then?
Yes, you should follow the 60/60 rule. So that's listening to 60% of the maximum volume for no more than 60 minutes at a time. You can also employ using over-the-ear noise-cancelling headphones since they will block out the sound just in their natural shape, but they also have active noise cancelling within them. So what happens is you've got background noise and the headphones kind of analyze what that noise looks like and will send a sound wave in the opposite direction to cut out the sound in the opposite shape, I guess. To cut out the sound so that it cancels out. So it just kind of, if you've got a wave that looks like this, if you're on YouTube, you're saying this very well, it'll send a wave that looks like this, the opposite way. And the signal to noise ratio. So you've got more signal than you've got noise. So that's a really good way of making sure that you are listening at safer volumes because you're not turning up the volume as much. So you're actually listening at a lower volume than you typically would without it.
Wow. Okay, on to our last myth of the day. People always say that hearing aids are only for old people. There is so much stigma around wearing hearing aids, and many people are reluctant to go ahead with hearing aids because of this ongoing stigma with the connotation to being old or disabled even. What have we got to say about this?
Yeah, this is a huge misconception. So hearing loss affects people of all different ages, and hearing aids can be beneficial for anyone with a hearing loss, regardless of age. Early intervention with hearing aids can significantly improve the quality of life.
That makes sense. How can someone know if they need a hearing aid then?
If you notice any sort of difficulty in hearing conversations, or you're asking for repetitions very frequently, or even if you're turning up the volume on your TV or your phone quite often, it's a good idea to come in and get a hearing test from an audiologist. And your audiologist would be really helpful and they can give you advice if you need hearing aids or if you need hearing assistive devices. If you ever find yourself struggling to hear or you think that you just need a hearing test, just drop by the audiologist.
And there's actually a lot of variety of hearing aids out there nowadays. And if people are worried that the hearing aids are being seen by others, there's more discreet options there as well. You can barely tell. Some of them can be covered by the hair, some of them are deep inside the ear. So,
Yeah, and we had some kids come in to talk to us a month ago, I think. They were talking about how the hearing aids come in different colors. They have their tubing, and then they had purple hearing aids. They had teal hearing. Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
I do think that hearing aids can become like a fashion statement.
Yeah.
Controversial,
Yeah.
but I do think it can be a fashion statement.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's just like glasses.
You don't need to wear black glasses if you don't want to. You can get any color that you like. And I think people also, when they think hearing aids, they think of the really big ones. And they used to be quite big. But now they're tiny. They're like this small. If you're on YouTube, you're able to see like this small. And then you've got like a little wire that might come off it and a little dome or a mold that goes into your ear. But they're quite small. And obviously the colors, so many colors to choose from. Sabrina, if you had to pick a color for a hearing aid, what are you picking?
Pink. Definitely pink.
Oh my god, same. And yeah, for me, pink or gold, or my like earrings gold.
Oh yeah, it'll match your jewelry
It'll
really
match my
well.
jewelry. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Of course.
Of course. Sarah, what about you?
I feel like I'd pick silver because I've been really into silver jewelry recently.
Oh,
So it's like it goes
really?
with the vibe. Yeah, I've got silver nails as well.
Oh,
So
Mm.
love.
trying to
You.
keep that classy girl vibe.
Yeah.
If I want to go for a little bit more fun, I would say I really like the color orange.
Oh, love. Yeah.
Orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Wow.
really like orange. And I used to have an orange water bottle, orange pencil case, and things like that. So I feel like a matching hearing aid in that color would heal my inner child, you
Yeah.
know?
Mm.
Yeah.
If there's any manufacturers listening out there, which you probably should, please,
Mm.
if you can please come out with a gold or chrome line.
Mm.
I would love to see a chrome hearing
Mm.
aid. Oh, I would die.
I
You would have
agree.
my money. So if somebody can make that happen, thank you so much.
Mm.
Much
Yeah.
appreciated.
I feel like if they just girlify the hearing aids a little bit, they can sell more.
Definitely. I feel like even if they can give people a palette to choose from, more options.
More options.
Even though they already do, there's like
Mm.
different color options that you can pick from. If there's more color options.
Yes.
Yeah. Hearing aid companies will hire us because we will make your ideas better.
Mm. So thank you, girls, for helping bust these audiology myths wide open today. It's so important to spread accurate information about hearing health.
Absolutely, Sabrina. It was such a good discussion. And this is, again, a call out to these companies. We want chrome. I want glitter and I want chrome.
I want pink.
Yeah, I'm orange. It was really helpful, and I do hope that the listeners take away these lessons and spread the information out there. Your friends, your family, let them know what's right, what's wrong about the ear. And please don't put any onions in your ears and don't lick your earwax.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So if there's one big takeaway message would we like our listeners to have? Audra, you can go first.
I think the takeaway message here is don't be afraid of going to see the audiologist. You might think it's only earwax, or you might think it's not consequential. You might think that it's not important, but you are able to see an audiologist. You can self-refer. Even if there's something small, if it's bugging you, it's worth seeing a health professional about it. We've talked about a lot of myths today, and I think you can avoid more pain or more suffering by just seeing an audiologist and getting some professional advice. Yeah.
Exactly. What about you, Sarah?
I guess my biggest takeaway for today is that anything to do with hearing is a very natural process. And so things like earwax, we shouldn't be afraid of. Things like hearing loss, you shouldn't be ashamed of. It's so normal. It's part of our lives. So I think it's important to normalize these topics and talk about them so that you're not afraid of your earwax or you're not afraid to talk about your hearing loss. More people can come forward with things like, oh, I can't hear. I'm telling you, I can't hear. Instead of, can you repeat that, or isolating themselves. Side note, I have a lot of earwax and the whole class has seen my earwax be removed. And before this, I was super embarrassed about my earwax, but now I just treat myself like a star that I am. I am going to show everyone how wax is removed. So don't be embarrassed by your earwax, guys. We audiologists love earwax, okay?
Yeah, definitely. Another big thing to remember is that nowadays, because technology is so advanced and people share their thoughts everywhere, even if they're not professionally credited to do so. So if you see any information out there on the websites or forums and things like that, take the information with a grain of salt. If the information sounds a bit sus to you, don't be afraid to seek professional advice as well. As Audra mentioned before as well, if you ever in doubt, go seek help from an audiologist and get professional advice would be the best way to go about things. I hope our listeners have gained quite a bit of good information, correct information from today's episode. Thank you guys for tuning in to Inner Ear Secrets. Next time, we'll be having a very special guest to talk to us about some of the research spotlights. So make sure you tune in then. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and make sure you follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Inner Ear Secrets Pod. And you can also find us on YouTube as well. Until next time, take care of your hearing and keep listening.